Hello and welcome to Lilith and Capricorn. Dun, 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 dun. Oh gosh. Lilith meets the devil. So this is an interesting placement. So welcome. If your sun or rising or whatever is in Capricorn and you're interested in Lilith, you can still watch this, but it's not necessarily, it's not about that. It's about where Lilith sits in your chart. There will be links below in the description for how to determine where Lilith sits in your chart. And I do like a little bit of research before each one of these. I've got Lilith and Capricorn notes, and I've got Lilith in 10th house notes. So I discuss that through the reading, and then I get into the cards. She wants to go into the archetype deck, and then into my combined deck. Well, she had me combine it, which is Murder of Crows and Heaven and Earth deck. So to figure out where your Lilith sits, you can Google that. Below I have a link for it. It was a really helpful link. That one will work. And then to find out what house it's in, you need to know what. So let's say Lilith sits in, well, this is in Capricorn, let's say. Well, what house is your Capricorn sitting in? So you would have to go to a regular astrological chart to see what house that a zodiac placement is sitting in. So the zodiac, so the house placement can kind of have to do with the areas of your life where these certain issues may show up. So you could have Lilith in Capricorn, but maybe you have her in the 3rd house or something. So maybe these issues would show up more with siblings and community, that sort of thing. So, oh, there's going to be an extended too. The link to that will also be at the top of the description within this video if you're drawn to the extended. So let's get started, shall we? Lilith in Capricorn can be a real feeling of absolute loneliness. Now, this is like Lilith is like this the epitome of loneliness. I touch on it a lot more when I talk about the 10th house. But Lilith in Capricorn here is like embodying the archetype of Lilith and living it on Earth. So that's rough. That's rough. We're not going to lie about that. Everybody's on a scale here with Lilith. I try to mention that all the time when I'm doing the Lilith readings, because you have an entire astrological chart. So there's going to be counterbalances, counter disruptions, and anything that you have. So again, it's on a scale. So, so part of the loneliness, though, is, I don't want to say a little bit like being ostracized. You know, if you're speaking up or out about, oh my God, something. That's so cool. You will often be vilified for doing that. Sorry, I'm looking out the window and the cloud out there looks like a big blue whale. It's so crazy. It's slowly transforming, but it was like the tail, everything. It was really cool. Okay, so anyways, you may even, there's a sense of doubting your own knowledge here, which is probably not something this placement needs to do, because you're probably quite knowledgeable about things, because you do have a tendency to want to know what you're doing and to want to have a sense of what's going on around you. So you tend to have correct answers, but you doubt yourself or misstressing your point, especially around authority figures. Like you may not be well understood, or your point may not come across well. Often afraid of failure and but you're also extremely responsible. Isn't that always the way too? It's always the one who's the most responsible, who is the most qualified, who is the most diligent at a job or work, that is usually the one that's the most worried about losing it. And it's the idiots that you see working around you that they show up late, they don't even get it, they always sick and nobody fires them. So it's just like, I can kind of relate to that. I think we've all seen it. And this is you. You're the one who's like coming in early, leaving late, getting it done, doing a good job. But okay, so here's the thing though. You don't necessarily like what you're doing. Because you're doing it because of a sense of trying to maintain security. Having likely lived through a sense of loss and hardship in childhood, and trying to always stay ahead of that. You likely carry loads that many couldn't handle or bear. Well, Lilith, living the epitome of Lilith on earth. You can seem cold and reserved, but in reality, very vulnerable and emotional. Now, feelings are actually your way out through this sign. So feelings are a way to actually empower you in this sign. But, you know, you may have been vilified for your feelings, or in the past, you may have been taken advantage of if you showed vulnerabilities in the past. So it's not easy. Like, it's so easy for me to say, you know, it's your way out. It's just like, let your feelings out, be vulnerable. No, it's just part of the journey, right? So now this was interesting. I didn't come across this in any of the other placements, but this one, I specifically came across information about injuries that you should be cautious of, parts of the body that you could injure in this placement. Knees, joints, and spine. So just be careful. And I kind of wonder though, like, because each zodiac rules sort of a part of the body and the head, like Aries is the head and Taurus is the throat, and so on and so forth. So I wonder if that's something to think about with Lilith and all of those. Unexpected hurdles often seem to be on your path. And I think these hurdles are probably people that, I don't want to say, like when you say hurdles, when like metaphorically, if I say you're on a path and there's a hurdle in your way, I kind of picture like a log or a boulder. It's kind of like some sort of inconvenient thing that you've got to look after to, you know, before you can kind of get around the path. You either got to figure out how to roll this out of your way or how to walk over it without slipping. Not so much with you. Like, these are things where you could be trying to work your way ahead in something. And I'm just going to give like a feminine perspective here because we are dealing with Lilith. And to be honest, I don't think a lot of males have checked into these, which is unfortunate because Lilith rules all of us. And particularly for masculine energy, this I would think would have a lot to do with the feminine energy within them, that they would probably often find conflict in, or at least they find conflict because of what they've been told in life, you know, how to feel and what to do. But anyway, so let's say you're extremely qualified, extremely educated, extremely experienced for a position you hold somewhere at work. And you have a goal for yourself. Maybe you'd like to become the CEO or the CFIA, or is that what it came? I don't know what I'm... So anyways, some sort of wonderful acronym. And you really should get there, but it's not like you get a little more work than everyone else. You got to figure out how to get through that because your boss thinks that you can handle it and wants to make sure that you can when you get to where you're going. It's more like your boss is a sexist ass and a bigot and all sorts of, like, is a total Archie Bunker boss. And no, you're not going there. Like, that's the obstacle. It's not like a little log of, okay, I'm just going to work a couple more hours than most people do every day so that I can get there. You could work day and night. You could roll up a tent and a sleeping bag. And there's going to be some sort of authority figure that's going to show up in your life to basically say, well, that's just not your position in life, so you're not going to get it. You know, that's the kind of obstacle shit that you can run into. Yeah. Issues with structure, hierarchy, and authorities. I just mentioned that. Often rebel against order, and it takes a lot of work for them to create structure. Oh, okay, I'm talking about you that serve them. Okay, so you often rebel against order, but because, and I don't want to say you're rebelling against order that makes sense. I think you're rebelling against order that's you, like, in the mud. No, sorry, you can't do that. Or no, sorry, you can't have that choice over yourself, or you can't have the opportunity to become this or do that. That's the rebellion. And then, okay, so it does take a lot of work for this sign to create structures that actually serve you. So you might have to go through, and they're just like examples that could show up in many different ways in your life. Maybe you want to be a pastor and you're not allowed to do that. So you have to create your own religion or church movement or something. I don't know. So, or like maybe what I was talking about in work, and you have to be your own entrepreneur. Like, you know, that stuff takes time. It takes experience. It takes money. It takes a plan. So it's not an easy road. It's not an easy road. It's like Lilith meets the devil. Oh yeah, growing up is one of the most important life lessons of this placement. I wasn't really sure what they meant by that. I think that can mean, okay, I think that is linked to often rebel against order, and it can take a lot of work for you to create structures that serve you. I think that's if you just rebel against order for the sake of rebelling against it. It's like, I'm just in a bad mood. I don't want anyone to be happy. I can't have this, so I'm going to say, screw it. I'm going to rebel against it. Well, you're going to meet opposition, and you're going to meet probably a lot, especially if you're rebelling for the sake of it. And whatever you're rebelling against actually does serve the higher good of almost everyone else involved. So, but that's part of the, I think that's where that comes in. Where growing up is one of the most important life lessons of this placement. It was where, like, well, not everything can be about you. But that's only, I think, if you are taking this on a very immature level. Where I'm not happy. I didn't want to do my homework. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do, well, guess what? Your life's going to suck if you don't try to do something. So that's kind of what it is. So, intense and fierce Lilith with cold and detached Capricorn have a lot to overcome to get along. See what I'm saying? It is. But Lilith is intense and fierce because she's been vilified for bullshit. So she's got it right. And cold and detached Capricorn. And not the Capricorn. You know what? I don't like that either, because Capricorns are not cold and detached. I got some of the warmest freaking Capricorns. I really met some fucked up ones, but there's fucked up ones in every sign. But yeah, like my grandfather was a Capricorn. Oh my God. But you know, some people may have described him as cold and detached. Yeah. But I liked him. We got along good. So, cold and detached, yeah, have a lot to overcome. So, you know, that's just kind of like wraps that up in a statement. If you think about the idea of the devil in a sense has also been vilified too. A lot of stuff has been vilified so that one thing looks right and correct and it's vanilla and everything else is burnt and crispy and bad. So these are two vilified, okay, so this is the other thing too. People get all freaked out when I say, like, the devil isn't a villain. The devil is the shit that you encounter in life. Well, it's meant to be. It's in its whole sense of description. And if you believe that everything in life comes from a higher order, comes from some sort of higher intelligence, like everything happening isn't just complete chaos and random and this just happened to work out. God created the devil too for a purpose, and that purpose is to make you grow, to make you go beyond what you thought you could do, to make you stronger than you thought you could ever be. Some people utilize that energy in a very toxic way and worship it, where it's not really meant to be worshipped. It's meant to be faced head on, and it's meant to be worked through and grown beyond. So that's like the point of it, right? But it's been vilified in a really toxic way, because it also, like, when you do that, you say, that's really toxic. I'm pure and holy. I'm going to heaven. I got it all figured out. Like, that's not high vibrational. So these are two energies that have, in a sense, been vilified. I want to say because energies outside of them didn't want to look at themselves. So it was easier to project. It's easier to project. So these are two energies that I feel like have been projected upon. And they carry a lot of shit because of that. And here you are trying to meet each other and get along. That's not easy. Not easy at all. So you can give off a rigid, unemotional energy, just so you know. You're not aware of it, but you know, you've come by it honestly. Hard work is a big part of you, but you can become more and more resentful of rules imposed on you as you grow older. Oh, it is. This is one of those signs where as you grow older, these things can seem more difficult. Again, rebel against structure. May not enjoy the results of your work. There can be anxiety about loss and bad things happening if you have too much fun. Well, that sucks. That's almost like that little voice in the back of your head. Like if even when you go on vacation, you're really not on vacation because you're thinking, no, you probably brought a book. You probably brought some sort of book to study something. And if you're not doing it, if you're having a good time with the kids or the partner or your spouse or just on your own, kind of feeling guilty about that. Like I was supposed to learn more about socioeconomics in the 1500s in Greece. Right? Like, see, now this all comes down to early child, not all of it, but likely all early childhood experiences, which is often with Lilith, with hardship, often taking on responsibility at a young age, often without any support. This statement reminds me of there's a couple of, I don't think she goes to my son's school anymore. I think she'd be in high school now. One of my neighbors that I used to have, their daughter, who I think is going to be a social worker or something one day. She comes from a very like well-off family. Her father is a lawyer and, you know, they're doing really great. She goes right to the poorest people, the most trodden down, their daughter, to the poorest people, the most trodden down people. Her chart must be interesting because really, yeah, like a lot of people in the community that don't really care what goes on the other side of the school. The school is here, there's the rich side, and there's the, I want to say, the more impoverished side, or the least opportunist side. And she had a friend who was like getting through school, and I found out later, like through talking to her, that I think she only lived with her mom, but her mom was a drug addict, had a lot of bad issues, a lot of big issues, and she couldn't even hold down a job at Tim Hortons because she would just show up late all the time. So this poor girl, I think she was in grade 6 or 7 at the time. And she had to like do it, like she had to do her own laundry. She had to get herself to school. She had to have meals ready. I think too that she worked part-time to try to make some money because her mom didn't make any money. And do you know what I mean? Like this is kind of that feeling. I don't know if that'd be all of you, but it's definitely like you're just kind of born into this hardship of, like, you didn't do anything to deserve that. It's just what you're doing. And there's really not a lot of support there. So, like, kind of early on, just feeling like you were dealt a pretty crappy hand. And that's a sense of why you do work so hard, because you know what it's like to be in that situation. And I would imagine kind of live with the fear in terms of lack of stability and what the future could hold. So, you know, you may just work so hard, and it may just be something that, you know what, it gives me security, it gives me benefits, it gives me a good income. But God, I hate it. I work for such an ass. Like, you know, you could end up kind of down that road. Oh, this is interesting too. So the insecure attachment style is strong in this placement. Feeling safe or being vulnerable in a relationship is not easy for you. You either want to hold on to control or you are afraid of being controlled. God, it's not an easy sign. This is not an easy placement. I mean, if you're getting through things pretty okay, you're doing good, or, you know, yay, the rest of your astrological chart is helping to balance some of this out for you. Okay, so now we get into Lilith in the 10th house. So like I was saying, like the house placement, because maybe Lilith, maybe you have Lilith in Scorpio or Gemini, but she sits in your 10th house. Like that sign sits in the 10th house. So this is kind of how these things may manifest in your life, like the aspects of your life. So 10th house, Lilith themes will manifest in terms of your reputation, career, and your position in the world. How people see you. On the scale of saint to sinner, you will always seem to fall over to the sinner side in other people's eyes. It's not hard to fathom why that would be when we look at what this placement is that we're talking about. You may likely live out the role of Lilith in this house placement. So this is even more strongly attached to like living out the actual archetype of Lilith in your lifetime here on Earth is even more strongly attached to the house placement than the zodiac sign. But I would say that, you know, it could probably fall either way. You may have been wounded, scapegoated, and likely fought back over these things. Your struggle is more public, more than any other placement could match. That's hard too. So the things that are going, like the things that are happening to you, where you get scapegoated, where you feel wounded, where you feel pushed back. Like if we go back to that earlier description of being the most qualified, educated, and experienced for a job and trying to work your way up to a higher point in that career. And the obstacles that are along that path are really obstacles that you even can't even move. But like, so like how that would happen publicly for you, like let's say you're at a board meeting with a bunch of colleagues, and your boss would often like probably be the one come out and, oh yeah, that was Lilith, that was Capricorn over there, that was 10th house. Remember? Yeah, remember how yeah, and then we lost all that money. So like that would be a public way that would happen, as opposed to you having a private meeting with your boss and saying, you know, you had that idea, it didn't go so well. We lost quite a bit of money on that, so we need to sit down and figure out how we can recap that or recoup that. All right, you see the difference on how that could happen. So, okay. Oh yeah, wild, outrageous rumors can plague this placement. You can be minding your own business and wham, people are all against you. You don't know why. Maybe, you know, it could be something that you wore. It could be something that you wore. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a really interesting example of that. I wonder sometimes why certain things happen in my life. I think, often I think, I bet you this is going to show up in an example for a reading. I didn't think this yesterday. So I went to get my car washed. There's a little washing detail place here in the town I live in. It's pretty inexpensive. They do a rough job, but it's okay. It's good. After the summer and there's sand and all sorts of shit in the car. So because of COVID, like you don't stay inside the building while they're doing this. You all wait outside. And very attractive lady was also getting her car done. And she had like these big black boots that came up to almost her knees. And she had this wraparound black velvet dress. The whole thing was like really, wow. I wish I could pull that off or had the guts to wear it. It's not really my style, so I wouldn't say I have the guts to wear it, but it's not really my style. But I took note. I thought it's like pretty good in that. So there was two guys kind of off to the side, and I guess they'd taken note of what she was wearing, and I could kind of hear them. And I don't know, just the impression that they had of who she was because of like how she wasn't dressed. She wasn't dressed in a provocative way. I think guys just get like excited about long gloves and boots for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, they thought that she was a bit of a ho-ho, I guess. But you know, she didn't seem like that to me. I don't know. But like, that's what I'm talking about. Could literally be something that you're wearing and you have no idea. And the whole group has created a rumor around it. Okay then. Well, but what they don't realize is that your great aunt Welda, is that a name? Welda? Your great aunt Welda knitted that for you. And it means a lot to you, so you wear it. You didn't realize that it could show the back of your bra a little bit. Like, it's just, like, that's the kind of shit that I feel like you could end up dealing with. This is the one placement where you exist as the archetype of Lilith. Yes, I've stressed that a few times. Those that suppress you, vilify you for standing up against them. Oh my gosh. I wonder who has this sign. I wonder if there's any like people who've been involved in like cultural marginalized movements that have this sign. Because right, how ridiculous is that? You get vilified. Oh my God. I just read it wasn't a very good book in my book club. What the hell was it called? I can't remember what it was called now. But it was basically the story of the Dust Bowl and in Texas. And then immigrating during the, or migrating during the Depression. So this takes place down in the US, obviously Texas, and into California. People were vilified because they were starving to death in the dust for trying to find water and food. But that's it, exactly. That's kind of what happened in this book. And then, like, making people work for you in the cotton fields for, like, starting at 40 cents for 20-pound bag of cotton. And, you know, your hands are bloody, and this is that. This is totally that. And then, yeah, vilified for, okay, because then they decided to drop the wages even more. And then they come up with a way to put the people in debt that were living on there, so that they, like, almost like turning, like, everyone into their slave. And then when they stand up and say, hey, we can't afford to eat, and if we want to eat, we have to give you all of our sovereignty. We don't like that. And they get mad at you. People are messed up, man. People are really messed up. Okay, your path is not an easy one, but it can be yours to show others that the path we're all on is not a path we need to stick to, and that freedom can be won. So there's the good part about it. It took me a while to get there, right, with this one? There's the good part about this. Yeah. Now, so this is also interesting because 2 days ago? Yeah, 2 days ago, I did Lilith in Sagittarius. And Lilith in Sagittarius had an awful lot to do with rebellion. And this one even takes that even further. Even further. Now, one of the things that came out in that, and I'll stress that as well, is the maturity of how you rebel and why you rebel against things. If something really truly is, like, think about what I just talked about. You are qualified, and you really, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to move into this position, except for the fact that your boss is a sexist bigot or a racist or whatever that could be. Yeah, that's probably a road that we should try to repave. And, you know, when people create a situation that continuously tries to push you down so that they can profit from it, and then they get mad at you for complaining that you have nothing to eat. Like, these are real issues that, you know, there's the potential for Lilith in you to come out and make good change. I need a drink after that. So, what could the message be? I don't know. We're starting with one archetype card. Oh, I find just getting through, like, the research that I've done on these signs is interesting. It's a whole chapter in itself. Okay, Lilith and Capricorn in 10th house. Lilith, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? Lilith and Capricorn and Lilith in 10th house. Teacher. What's at the bottom? An athlete. That's interesting. So with Lilith, we always look at the light and the shadow attributes in this. This is really interesting. The word teacher didn't come out in here, but it is, I would put it up in part of with, like, positions of authority that you would see in your life. That did come up in Sagittarius. So, the light attribute, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. The shadow attribute, manipulation or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. I need to pull out cards for this. I'm not really sure how this is sitting with you. If this is a message about you becoming a teacher for other people, which I'm feeling that strongly. You being this. And look at all the different worldview. Oh, isn't that interesting? Look at the way she's popping open the globe, and all these other little mini globes are coming out. So it is like a very broad perspective. You know, this is really weird. I kind of think, like, for some of you, even, like, just even maybe the, the profession of being a teacher. I don't know how old you are, if you've got the time to retrain and go and do that. But it just kind of seems like, but you know, but it doesn't, okay, so that doesn't necessarily have to be like something that you're qualified to do. You should be somewhat qualified to do it on some level. Like even if it's something that you have learned yourself in life and you have found success and you found a path to help other people get to that. Like that could be sort of seen also as, like a life coach, like be a good legit life coach, because there's a lot of people, there's so many scams out there right now, but like that you have to, because I'm looking at behind there, like all these formulas, like you have a formula here for some sort of success, and it may very well be based on having a very broad perspective of multiple experiences that you've been through in life. The shadow, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. This is the first time I've ever sat in a Lilith reading, and I feel like she's making me work. Because there's a so okay, so when people read tarot, there's different ways you can read it. And one of the most basic, and I would say least in-depth ways to read tarot is this is what the card means, and this is what the message is. Now, as you pull out more cards, it starts to affect the meaning of the original card. And then also intuitively and channeling, like you will receive different messages. So that's all been shut off for me right now with Lilith, which is really an odd experience. So it almost feels like that in itself is a message. Maybe okay, so maybe we're not supposed to talk about the shadow because I'm not getting anything about that. With the light attribute, I am definitely getting something about you have created a formula in your life. And that you could really benefit others. But that's the whole point of Lilith, is coming up out of something suppressive, having a formula for that, and being able to repeat, to help others repeat. So let's see what tarot cards come out. Look at that. This is taking the energy of the devil. Okay, so don't misinterpret me here. This is like taking the energy of the devil and co-creating with it. Okay, remember what I talked about early on in the reading, that these are two energies that have both been vilified and they've both been projected upon. Well, you know what? There's probably no really big time Christians watching this at this point. But like, if you can at least try to understand with me what I'm trying to say about the energy of the devil. If that energy did not exist, we would all just be living a really happy, easy go breezy life, but no one would be trying to become better. No one would be becoming stronger. Like none of that would be happening. So this is turning the tables. This is walking across the room to the other villain, the other one that's been vilified, who's also standing in the shadows and in the corner. And this is saying, let's shake hands on this. You and I have got some good stuff we can do here. It's kind of like that. It's embracing what you've gone through. Okay, so the first thing, I'll show you everything you have here. You have the Four of Swords. I'm so glad, like, all the channeling has opened up big time in this again. You have the Knight of Pentacles. You have the Magician. And then you got her here. You got the one and only Empress. And that, I believe, is who Lilith really, truly is. Oh my God. This is linking to a message that I had Oh God, a month or so ago. And it had to do with the magician. That message is coming in right now. I think these cards are actually sitting in a very similar placement. I think this is a message that was on my Instagram account. These two energies are meant to come together. So you're meant to do that. You're really meant to do that. God, I hope I can stay hold of this message and really pull it in. Okay, first you need to heal the things that you've been through. You need to come to terms with the things that have happened in your life and heal. There's probably a level of forgiveness that's involved in that, which again, forgiveness is a really easy word for me to throw out there at you, but it's something that everyone has to do in their own process. And forgiveness is never for the party that did anything to you. It's always for you. It's so that you can move forward. And there we have it. We have the moving forward. This magician sits without knowing what to utilize. I just get that from his face in this card. He looks dumbfounded. There's supposed to be something there for him to use, but he's not using it. The cup is in front of him, but he doesn't, like, it's, see, this crow is looking over here to the Empress. There's a solution there. Okay, it's like a solution for mankind, but it really does truly exist through your emotions. And that was discussed here. Feelings are your way out and through this. The cup, it's like not knowing what to do with the cup here. There's a feminine aspect that needs to be honored. There's a dishonoring in the feminine. Oh, this is turning into a really big reading. Like, I don't know who you guys are. Like it feels worldwide with this one. Lilith and Capricorn. Well, you know, I am talking to people all over the world. Okay, I'm getting the message like, okay, you see this? Okay, I feel like, okay, this is what I want to say. I'm sorry. There's just so much coming in and I'm trying to coagulate it all so that it can come out into full sentences for you. Channeling this isn't so easy. So this here is the solution. This to me is kind of like you really the full embodiment of this sign, because you are the archetype of it here right now. You are the real you're the embodiment of the true divine feminine, whether you're masculine or feminine. It is there's a sense of the true feminine, the dark lady, Lilith, the dark moon. We go back to that story that she was created first. Adam didn't like her. He couldn't force himself upon her. She didn't want to put up with his shit. So he complained to God. I mean, like, just the whole story. Like, why would any man want to hold himself to that story? She was too strong for me, so I needed someone that, you know, I could suppress. Why would any man in their right mind want that to be their story as well? Like, this is what I'm seeing here. So if the true femininity, if the true aspect and expression and exploration of femininity has been like shot out into space, like ejected from Earth and created as a villain, oh my God, Adam is the villain. I don't even know what I'm channeling. Adam is the villain. It's almost hard for me to say because of my own programming. But the devil is not the villain, right? Well, that makes sense. I mean, I've been trying to say that for the longest time. These are like, you are in this energy. You are literally like the superhero, the duo superhero that has been completely vilified. That's the problem here. The feminine aspect of each of us, we are starting to identify what truly is the strong aspect in that. Where is it really truly holy? Where is it created without influence from man, from something? How could something created by the universe, by God, tell the universe or God that wasn't good enough? I needed something like that. That is actually the devil energy. So it's actually the masculine story here. It needs, not only does Lilith need to come through, but the devil needs to come through. I don't know what's going to happen to my channel with this, but this is crazy. Shit. But that's why, because it's like, okay, I just see the masculine energy. So this is also playing out for you. Like, you know how we talked about, you could be working really, really hard. Well, you do work really, really hard, but you will not really enjoy the results of your work. Like, look at this. What I'm seeing here is that this knight is coming by. It's a masculine energy. It's coming in with a pentacle. There's already a pentacle there. I don't need a pentacle. What I'm looking at is this goddamn cup. I don't know what to do with the cup. What do I do with the cup? It is almost as if, because the emotions within the masculine aspects of you have been lost, have been vilified. Holy crap. Like, that makes so much sense. Okay, give me a clarifier. I want to know more about the magician. This energy. Okay, so what? Yeah, I know. I'm finally getting a Lilith. I swear to God, she looks at me and it's like, it took you a while to bring this in. I know. But I have my own mind, right? My own programming. Okay, so this is sitting pretty, sitting good. Like, we've got Empress energy here. We've got this. I'm really hearing that this energy is on its way to being holistic. It may seem like there's still a lot of obstacles in the way for this, but it's on the path. The problem is both these paths have to be navigated pretty much at the same time. Like, these are dualistic energies. Lilith and the devil are the pure forms of what was created, and they've been vilified. And the masculine, and I thought people are going to have a lot of problems getting through. I mean, I had problems as a reader just stating this. Because the devil, too, is everything within us that we are trying to come to terms with. But if we don't believe that we need to do that, we will never grow forward, which is why this masculine energy sits looking dumbfounded at the cup. So the masculine energy is still following the incorrect story. The lie of humanity's journey. Yeah, I'm just smiling because Lilith is looking at me in a very soft way that she's never looked at me before. Oh my gosh. The Emperor and the Eight of Pentacles. This is the weirdest feeling I just had. It was almost like being in a Truman Show. It just feels like, all of a sudden, it just felt like all of us are almost in like a hologram. Like, none of this is real. Well, really, can we really prove that it is? And then when something is realized, the holographic projection falls away. My ears just buzzed high. When something is realized, the holographic projection falls away. This Emperor, this desire, this, don't these two look so similar? This need for control. The fear of control or being controlled. And again, like, I know this is feeling very like collective, but like on a personal level for you, I mean, we talked about that right near the end of all my notes here. What's wrong with it? Either holding on to control or you are afraid of being controlled. Right? And here we have the Emperor and the Eight of Pentacles. Everything that you've built. Everything that's been built upon here has been built upon a falsehood. But on a personal level, like too, like you may be so focused on the fear of what you perhaps came from that you are imprisoning yourself. You are not allowing the masculine go get it energy to go get it, but it needs to go get it with the cup. The Empress. Oh my God. The Three of Swords and the Magician. What is sitting beside her but the Magician? And look at her heart. There's the heart. So, okay, like, yeah, she actually does have, I guess, a sword or something, or a staff. I don't know what it is. But then it's like a shield. And her shield is shaped as a heart. And it has a symbol of Venus there, of the feminine symbol. And then look at this heart. This heart has swords going through it with the Magician being caught up in the storyline of control and responsibility. Neither one of these energies can move forward without the other. One can get so far, so that's within you too. Like your more feminine and creative and nurturing side, as opposed to your more masculine, you know, like strategic, planning, implementing. These two sides of you, and even humanity as a whole, this is really like, could almost be collective for this reading. These two elements, one can get a little bit ahead of the other, but it's not going to go any further until the other one catches up. Like they've both got to go at the same time. I feel like I'm treading on an interesting line here that I'm going to have to explore more of these messages about Adam and the devil. Who's told these stories? Where did these stories come from? Because something's not working here. We all just only have to look around the world and see that none of this is working. And it's all based on storylines that have been told from the past. The truth needs to start coming out here. Huh. This is interesting. All right then. What's at the bottom? The Queen of Wands. The Ace of Cups. Oh, she has a Black Panther with her. Oh. That came out on Instagram too. It was the Black Panther and the Snow Leopard. Shit. I feel like my readings are like something that maybe from years from now, people will go back and put it all together and it makes sense. There's like all these pieces to a puzzle in these things. The fire. Right? The fires of hell. Who has been burning in there, really? But the panther is in the flames. The panther came to my channel a couple years ago. A depiction of, well, it was the archetypal energy of a very, very, very powerful protective spirit guide. But this guide was so powerful, like it came out in the Leaper reading, and it was so powerful because injustices that were done to people that, you know, came from devilish energy, but now I want to say the devilish energy is people projecting as opposed to looking within. And that this came from very toxic and came up out of it. So it's almost like, what is like a fallen angel and then an angel rebirthed? I guess would be like a really quick and easy way to describe that. A fallen angel and an angel reborn. An angel brought up to judgment. But this guide is so capable of seeing through and navigating through toxic lies and manipulation and karmic injustices, because it's been there. It's been like the devil's right-hand man. I feel like I'm not doing the devil justice now by saying these things. I have to come up with new words and terms. But it's sitting there. There's some sort of powerful truth that needs to come up here. I really feel like this reading is a catalyst. It was a door. It was an open door. Almost like a channel. An open door, an open avenue, that this message was allowed to come through on this level. The Ace of Cups. Look at that. Oh, look at him. He's got clawy-like fingers. I don't know if you can see it, like long nails. What's holding the damn cup? It looks like the same fingers. Having the cup to hold with the Queen of Wands. The femininity in all its power. Wow. I don't know what the hell you got from this, but it was like, this is a powerful, powerful energy, Lilith and Capricorn. It's the truth. I sound like, I can't talk well with these stupid things in my mouth. I don't know why lately it's really causing me problems. But sometimes I feel like I sound like Elmer Fudd trying to give you like the knowledge of Bugs Bunny. It's not coming out well off my tongue. The Seven of Swords and Temperance. The truth. The truth. I can see I'm going to be having to do collective readings about this. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. I already have. For anyone who wants to get weird with me, I already got a case open with the police, the cyber cops. I'm on your case. They're on your case. I will not be shut down by anybody's shit. So, we got athlete and networker on here. And what the really cool thing is too, they have like a digital file. So anything that comes in that's harassing or death threats or anything like that, I just pop it up into the file. And I say, oh, Cindy's got new shit here that we can look into. So I'm just saying. Okay, athlete. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps. Development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Network. Enhances unity through the sharing of information. And engenders social awareness and empathy. Oh, come on, you guys. You guys could be really social changers here, as was the energy of Lilith in Sagittarius. Oh God. I have the energy to do the extended now. Holy crap. Okay, I'm going to go do the extended. I hope that was helpful. I feel like there's a whole bunch more to be unraveled in this, but maybe a lot of it makes more sense to you because this is the energy that you have with Lilith. So, thank you so much. Until next time, to be gentle with yourselves. Bye.